Hi, I'm Meredith Curtis. I'm so excited to talk to you today. I co-own Powerline Productions. I'm a curriculum creator, a homeschool mom, and now a homeschool grandma. So it's really exciting to be with you, to talk to you. And one thing that happens all the time when I talk to teens is I run into all these teenagers who say to me, I would love to write my own book. I'd love to write my own novel. And that is really exciting. But then I think, oh my goodness, with all the stuff they do in high school, when would they ever have time? And my own daughter wanted to be a writer. She was really gifted in writing. And when I was designing her high school curriculum, I got to thinking, what if we spent one whole year just writing a novel? We could read good literature that would help us, that we could learn from, and then write our own novel. So that's what we did. We started a tradition, and all my other four children did the same thing, where we actually wrote a novel in high school. And that was really, really exciting. And when my third daughter came along, we both loved cozy mysteries. So I said, hey, what if we write a cozy mystery? We love to read them. So we picked out some really well-written classic mysteries and we wrote our own mystery. So what about you? You're thinking, well, I'd love to do that, but how would I convince my mom that it would be a good idea? Or what if you're a mom and you're thinking, is this a good idea? It sounds fun. My daughter or my son really likes to write, but would it really benefit them academically? So I want to share with you the 7 benefits, educational benefits of writing a cozy mystery in high school. First of all, whether you write a cozy mystery or just a novel, you will learn so much about literature, because when you're actually creating a plot, when you're actually creating characters, when you're actually creating a setting, you learn a lot about that stuff and you think, oh, I think I'm going to use foreshadowing. And then you really kind of get what foreshadowing is. So every time we write our own novel, we learn so much about literature, and it really changes the way that my kids look at literature, and even teaching them, I learned a lot about literature. Next, you learn to tell a good story that folks will enjoy. You know, the purpose of writing is to provide something that people will enjoy reading. And when you're working on a novel, you definitely learn to do that, because you sit so often down with people and read out loud to them your story and get input from them. And you just learn what people like and what they don't like. You can almost get to a point where you can tell from their body language what they like and what they don't like. Third thing is quotation marks. I know that sounds funny, but I was just teaching a research paper class, and we were struggling, the students were struggling with quotation marks. And here I teach my whodunit class, and people struggle with quotation marks in conversation, where in a research paper, it's quoting people. So it's really helpful for learning to use quotation marks. When do we use them? How do we use them? And that actually applies to other areas of English, believe it or not, of writing, believe it or not. And then you learn to use misdirection and twist endings. And that's really fun to be able to use, because it's a neat thing to be able to do in your life and in other papers or other projects, is to let your audience think you're going one direction and then twist it and surprise them. And even if you're writing an essay or a report, it can be really fun to be able to have that skill. So that's something you definitely acquire by writing a cozy mystery. And number 5, you learn to keep track of your clues, your red herrings, your suspects, and keep the tension going between the murderer and the detective. Because in any story, you have the plot, and that involves, you have a hero and everyone's rooting for the hero, and then there's a bad guy. Or maybe it's just, some kind of personal issue that the hero has to overcome, or maybe it's an obstacle, but there's tension between the hero and the bad guy, or the hero and the obstacle, and that tension goes throughout the whole story. Well, what happens when you write a cozy mystery is that the tension goes between the detective and the bad guy. So you've got like this tension the whole time, only here's the trick. The bad guy is actually, you don't know who he is because you're not going to know till the end. And so you're creating tension with a bad guy that they don't know who he is. So it's very challenging to do. It's really fun to do, but it's really challenging, and you really learn a lot. And that is definitely a writing skill that is going to spill over into everything else. And number 6, you create characters that are likable, and they have real life issues. They're likable or they're hateable, but they're real. They're not flat. They're rounded, and they have hurts and pains and successes, and they have character flaws or quirks. Especially, it's fun to create a detective with quirks. But when you do that, what happens is you learn more about human nature. So it's almost like taking a psychology course to write a cozy mystery, because you have to think about, well, what motivates people to do something bad, or what motivates people to do something good. And so it's really fun. And one of the things I forgot to mention before I go to 7 is that when you learn to tell a good story, you can add a good story to anything, to giving a speech, to writing a report. So being able to tell a good story is always a bonus. The thing is, when you write a cozy mystery, cozy mysteries are not easy to write, because you have to keep track of so many things. You don't just have a clear-cut bad guy. You've got to have other people look like bad guys, and have them, you've got to have misdirection and red herrings. And so there's clues, but then there's red herrings, which are false clues. And it takes logic to have everything make sense. Does this make sense that this person would be motivated to commit a crime? And you have to figure all that out. So it's like a crash course in logic too. And at the end, you have to make sure everything fits together, everything makes sense. And so if you're interested, I have a course called Who Done It, and it's a 1 credit English class. It really is. And it's a lot of fun, and you will read mysteries and write mysteries. And I have had so much fun teaching it to my own kids, teaching it in homeschool co-ops. And this past year, I taught it at True North Homeschool Academy online. And I thought, oh, is this going to work? But it did. And we had so much fun, and that I'm teaching it again this coming year. So if you would like to work on this class at home with your mom, or maybe in a homeschool co-op, you can buy the print book at Amazon. Just go to my website, powerlineprod.com, and search for Who Done It English class. And when you get there, there's a link to the print book on Amazon, and there's, of course, you can buy right on my website the digital copy. So, and if you want to take a class online with me, visit truenorthhomeschoolacademy.com and look under high school English, and you will find my course and you can sign up. But I really hope that you'll consider writing a novel in high school, because there's so many benefits, and it definitely gives you so many skills that you think, oh, wow, I didn't realize like how many skills I got from doing this. And what an incredible privilege to create a novel, to create your own story, your own book, and have it doing it as an English class. It sets that time aside for you, and it kind of gives you that push when you think, oh, I don't feel like writing today, but you learn to overcome that. So all you future writers, check out Who Done It as a possible high school course. God bless you. Have a wonderful, wonderful summer.